Hope you all had lots of fun in snow yesterday, but now we are going to get started with our history lesson, and I hope you had a little explore about this at home because we're looking at placing events in a chronological order. So that is the order in which things have happened. So we started looking at creating a simple timeline, thinking about things that have happened in the past, so things that have happened already, things that are happening in the present now, and things that we want to achieve in our future. Okay, so things that have not happened yet. So we discussed that in the past we were all babies, okay, young babies and toddlers. In the present, so right now, we said we were all at Byron Wood School, and that we're learning remotely. So we are part of Byron Wood School. We are all doing our work online. And in the future, we had to think about what we wanted to be when we grew up. And some of you came up with firefighters, nurses, doctors, shopkeepers, astronauts. There was lots of fabulous ideas that I've had sent in. So you might have something similar at home that you have created. And we're going to use this today to put a series of events in a chronological order, okay? And this time it's going to be a bit of a longer timeline, and we're going to focus specifically on events throughout a school day. And I just want to have a little look back about our timeline of growing from a baby into an adult that we looked at yesterday. And remember, when we're doing our timeline, it goes from the left all the way to the right. So this is what happens first, the first event on my timeline, and this is the last event on my timeline. Okay, so we start as a baby and infant, then we go into a toddler, nursery, then we're at primary school, turn into teenagers, adults, and the elderly. Okay, so we're progressing throughout time. So time goes on as we're going along our timeline. So we had a little look at this yesterday, and I want you to think, what is it and what do you already know about it? So pop this up on your screen, have a little think, what is it and what do you already know? Okay, so you should have paused that and had a little chat. If you need a bit more time, just keep it paused. So hopefully you'll have noticed that this is a timeline. Okay, so this is a timeline. It's showing the order in which things have happened, and it's showing a timeline of a school day, okay? And I know this because I can see here that I'm getting up, driving to school, doing some learning, and then going home, having some tea and go to bed. Okay, so this is a simple timeline that we had a little look at yesterday. We quickly touched on it, didn't we? So I've now taken these events off, and I want us to see if we can have a go at putting them in the correct order. Just going to slightly move it down because I am wary that my face is beautiful, but it's probably at the top of the screen and it might be covering some of these pictures. So I'm just going to pop them all over to the left so that you can see them all. So I really hope you can. There we go. So we'll try and pop them underneath here on the timeline. So 7 a.m. Let's start at the beginning of our timeline. What happens at 7 a.m.? Something goes off in your house, it makes a big noise, and it makes you, what? Hopefully you've said wake up, okay? So on a school day, we wake up at 7 a.m. What do you do after 7 a.m.? What's the next thing you do once you get out of bed? Possibly you might say you eat breakfast, or you might get dressed first. Okay, but I know that I eat breakfast first. It's the first thing I do. Then, once I've eaten breakfast, I get dressed and I brush my teeth. Okay, so they're my two things next. What happens at about 8 o'clock? What do you do about 8 o'clock? I've got these 4 things left. Is it lunchtime at 8 o'clock? Is it learning time? Is it home time? Or do I drive to school? Which one is it? That's it. You come to school. And then at 9 a.m., what do we do next? Brilliant. We start our learning. After our learning in the middle of the day, what do we have a break for? Is it for home time or lunchtime? We're trying to think about the order of our school day. It's lunchtime, and then at 3 o'clock or 3:15, it's time to go home. There we go. So there is my simple event and the timeline. This is where we start, and this is the end of the day, okay? So I'm putting my events in chronological order, which is the order in which they happen in a day. So I want you now using some time adverbials, which is what we looked at yesterday in English, so you should be very familiar with these, to have a think about describing when things have happened on the timeline, so the times in which they happen. So I'll go through these words so that we're familiar with them again. So we've got first, last, after, next, later, between, earlier, and finally. Well, I'm going to start with this one here, which is first, because I can say, first thing I do in the morning is wake up. Okay, the first thing I do in the morning is wake up. I might say, after that, I brush my teeth and get dressed. And then I eat my breakfast and drive to school. Later, I do my learning, and in between my learning and home time, I have my lunch. Next, I go on the iPad and eat some tea, and then finally, I go to bed at 7 p.m. Make sure I get all my sleep ready for the day. So I'm going to unhighlight those now so you can see the words on the screen. Let me get that up. Okay, and hopefully you can see those at home. And I want you now to have a little go using these words that are on the screen to talk through the events that happen in our school day. Okay, so use these time adverbials to tell me when things have happened on this timeline. So pause the video now for me. Brilliant. So well done for having a go at this at home, because now you're going to have a go at creating your timeline. Okay, so this is your little task that I want you to have a little go at doing for me for today. So your timeline might look slightly different to a normal school day at the moment because we're all at home. So you might be getting up a little bit later, and you might be having your lunch or your breakfast a little bit later as well, which is absolutely fine. Okay. But hopefully you can put some key events down that happen. If you want a challenge, you can write the times that we happen along the top. But the most important thing here is to be writing the key events on each part along here. Okay, so pop in the key events on the timeline. So I'm going to think of the most important things that happen on my school day. So the most important things are, well, one of them is definitely that I wake up. So I need to write that down. So I wake up. And if you want to, you can draw a little picture as well. So here's me. With bright lime green there. I think I might change that. It's going to be orange. So here's me waking up with my hair. Might do me in bed. Here I am, look, in my bed. And then I'm waking up. Great. So the first thing I'm doing is waking up. Then after I've woken up, I eat my breakfast. Then after I eat my breakfast, I get dressed and brush my teeth. Let's make that a little bit smaller so you can see it. There we go. Eat breakfast, get dressed and brush my teeth. What else do I do? I come to school, but at the moment, I'm not driving to school, I'm walking to school. So because I want a bit of fresh air and to make me a bit more awake in the morning, I walk to school. So there I'm going to put walk to school instead of drive to school. And then here I record my lessons. So yours might be a bit different because you won't be recording lessons. Maybe you do your history work in the morning, And then here I have my lunch. And then after my lunch, I do my live lessons. So I do some phonics and some story time. And then after I've done my live lessons, I have a meeting with year 1. And then I go home. Okay. So this is my timeline of my school day at the moment. It's a little bit different when we are all in school together, but at the moment this is what it is. So I'll go through it again. So straight away in the morning, first I wake up. After that I eat my breakfast, because remember I'm using these time adverbials down here. Then I get dressed and brush my teeth. I walk to school, and then when I get to walk to school, I record lessons. And in between my lessons, I have my lunch. And then later in the day, I do my live teaching of phonics. I have a meeting, and then finally, I get to go home. Okay, so hopefully you can have a little go at creating a timeline just as superbly as mine. And if you want to have a go at drawing your pictures at the top, you absolutely can do that. Okay, so you can show me all the different things in your day. You might want to think about whether you do a timeline just of what you do in a school day, or whether you want to do a couple of timelines to show me maybe what you do on a weekend as well, possibly. Okay, so here are the keywords that you need. And here is an example timeline for you to use, but you don't have to use this idea. You can either draw the pictures or you can write the events that happen. But don't forget to use these time adverbials to say what is happening at each stage, and take a picture of this and submit this piece of work as your history lesson for this week, okay? Because I want to see your super timelines. Enjoy doing this, and I will see you later for phonics. Bye, everyone.